My, oh my. Good heavens to Betsy. What in the world has happened to the internet? All right. All that aside, I am tied up in my cord. I don't know how that happened. Okay. I hope you guys are doing awesome. I myself am doing equally well to awesome, with one exception. I'm so confused. This deal that has popped off between Ryan Upchurch and this deal that has popped off between Ryan Upchurch and Icked Mel. It's just too weird for words, right? I mean, it's just crazy. It's just weird. Now, it is easy. Okay, let me say this. It is so damn easy to take a position and say, you know, Ryan, you're making some strange connections, bub. You're finding some connections, even though they may seem like they have a connection, they may be similar, which is why your brain's kind of recognizing them and putting them together. They may be similar, but do they have any real meaningful type of connection? That is the big question. And of course, that is exactly what is under consideration. I mean, that's the part of this thing that has people so freaked out, and has Icked Mel freaked out, and has Ryan freaked out, and has Rando Ronnie freaked out. It's not so much that the connection is made, right? Because I mean, hell, we can find lots of connections between things. Like if you have a next door neighbor and they have, a little black dog that dies, and they name, that dog's name was Lucy. And then the other next door neighbor ends up getting a new dog, and that dog is black, and they name it Lucy. Well, you may say, aha, there's connection, right? But it doesn't mean that they were even aware of each other at the time. I mean, it could be, but for the most part, you don't know if they were aware. You don't know if there was some sort of meaning behind the name Lucy and black dogs. You don't know those things. Your brain is just finding out information and sort of giving it meaning according to what you think. Okay. Now, still, don't get me wrong here. I'm with Ryan on some of this stuff. Some of the things that he has brought out and talked about is a bit on the crazy side. I'm talking about crazy in terms of, okay, this is uncomfortable. Like, clearly we can see the reality of what you're putting out there. I'm telling you, before I made this live, I went to Icked Mel's channel. I went back to the original, the first Rando Ronnie video with the call in. I'm telling you, I feel more uncomfortable today with that call-in show than I did the night that it happened. Listening, knowing what's going to be said, knowing what's going on, it's very uncomfortable. I also watched XannamayX, and I thought, okay, so clearly she lives in Truckee. Or near enough that you could make a little drive out there, right? I mean, I don't mean she has to live like right in Truckee, but enough that she knows. And she's the only damn one on the whole internet that's come up with a video of a damn party. Well, what I would like to know is if XannamayX has sent the video of the beautiful Hispanic party, if she gave that video to the police, to the FBI, to the people that are investigating the disappearance of a 16-year-old that was reportedly at a party that night, whose phone pinged for the last time at 12:33, and the cops have said clearly there's nothing after that. No one called her after 12:33. She called no one after 12:33. The phone was turned off. Right? So now out of the middle of just in the middle of this utter incomplete chaos, YouTube-based chaos, now we find out, oh no, yeah, sure, there was a party there. Yes, there was a party there at the campgrounds on August the 5th, and it was a beautiful Hispanic party. It was a large party with video of the beautiful large Hispanic party on August the 5th. The same night that a 16-year-old goes missing from the face of the planet when she's said to be at a party that has 300 people. Okay, so here's a question that comes to my mind. This didn't originate with Ryan Upchurch. How do we know what party Ronnie went to, or his cousins went to? I mean, did his cousins go to the little teeny bopper high school graduation party with 30 people? Or did Ronnie and his cousins go to the big, beautiful Hispanic party that was there at the campground, August the 5th? And there's video to show it. You see my point? So you can go ahead. You can go right ahead and look at this and go, okay, everybody, we've jumped on the crazy train. We're getting some weird connections here that are just a little on the silly and absurd side. Okay, I'm with you on that. But I'll tell you what I'm not on board with, and that is you've been listening now for, what are we on now? We're on day 11 or 12. Well, no, it's been more than that. We're on day number 15, going on day number 15 since this little girl went missing. You mean to tell me, as a YouTuber, as someone who is said to cover true crime on Twitch, you are listening to people go, well, how's that possible? How is it possible that we don't have any video? How is it possible we don't have any video of a party with 300 people? Why don't we have any photographs? And then finally, you got Sammy and the rest of the gals lying left and right, according to the police. And they come out several days ago and say, okay, well, you know what? We have obstruction of justice. We have an adult who is interfering with an investigation. And when we're able to prove that this person is interfering with our investigation, we're going to arrest their ass. I wonder if they were talking about an 18-year-old adult interfering with a full-blown investigation. Because I'm kind of thinking at this point, yeah, that's exactly who they're talking about. It's her. And possibly Jagger. Because of that whole, you need to talk to me. I'm the one. You come tell me your story. You come give me your pictures. You come give me your video. And if I decide that it's credible, I will forward it to the FBI. After all, they asked me to do that. Bullshit. They did not ask you to do that. That's silly. That's just a silly thing to say. But now, here we are, a week and a half. Actually, at the time that the information came out about, I have video of the big Hispanic party. At the time that came out, it had been about 11 days that they had been looking for this little girl. 11 days. And the whole world is wanting to know how you have a party with 300 people and no one takes a video. No one takes photographs. The whole world, it's being talked about on Fox News. It's being talked about on CNN. It's all over YouTube and Twitch and the internet everywhere. And you got XannamayX sitting there, bigger than Dallas. Oh, I just love watching this video. Every night before I go to sleep, I turn the video and I watch the video that everyone in the world wants to see. And I am apparently the only one that has it. I'm not going to turn it in. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm just going to sit right here because it's a big, beautiful Hispanic party and nobody else wants to see that but me. Really, XannamayX? Honestly, do you honestly believe the whole world is looking for this little girl and everybody is looking for food? The cops are practically begging. They are practically begging. They are doing press conferences every day, something that is highly unusual. And if the truth is that you're doing true crime on Twitch, then you should know that it is unusual for the police, the FBI, to do a press conference daily for a missing kid. That is unusual. You want to know why they were doing that? They were trying to reach those kids and tell them, we're not gonna get you. We don't care. We don't care what kind of drugs you were using. We don't even care if there was a fight. We don't care if there was a gunshot. We don't care what happened. We just want to get some answers for where Kiely is, dead or alive. It doesn't matter. We just need to know. So this family can heal and move forward. And XannamayX reporting crime, Icked Mel, her good friend sitting there covering the case. It never occurs to XannamayX that somebody may need to know about the video. Really? She doesn't need to talk about it. She doesn't bring up and tell anybody that she has this video until when? When Ryan Upchurch begins to make connections between Icked Mel and Ronnie and the disappearance of this 16-year-old kid. So once it looks like her friend, now there is gossip about the connections, supposed connections between Icked Mel and XannamayX. I'm not going to repeat that nonsense. I don't know if it's true or not, and there's no point in repeating it. But I mean, they're friends. I don't think either one of them would deny that they're friends, right? And so she sits on this video of the beautiful Spanish party that happened right next to the party where Kiely went missing. And she doesn't think that anyone might need to know about it. It doesn't occur to her that someone may want to look at that video. Is that right? Is that what let's just try this out. We've got what? We've got 200 people in the chat. I'm just curious. If you believe, right, AK? I know. I know. Okay. If you guys believe that XannamayX had this video of this big, beautiful Spanish party, if you believe that she did not think anyone would care to know about it or watch it, including the police and the FBI, put a 1. If you think she completely believed that no one cared if there was a video out there of the party, put a 1. If you believe that that is redonkulous, if you think it is absolutely redonkulous to believe that, oh no, I don't think you do, but the woman is said to be doing true crime on Twitch. Now, I'm not a Twitcher, so I don't know who's on Twitch. I don't know what they do on Twitch. I got my hands full with this YouTube nonsense, right? But look, she apparently, I mean, she's Icked Mel's friend. He's covering the whole Kiely case. So if he's covering it, she knows. Everybody's talking about how unlikely it is that there's no video and no photographs. You got a bunch of seniors, you got a bunch of kids out there partying in the middle of the night. No pictures, really? I've never seen anything so silly in my life. If Anime, if you had that video, hell, if you still have that video, have you forwarded it to the sheriff's department? Have you given it to the FBI? Has it occurred to you to maybe let someone know? At the very least, contact that poor girl's mother and give her the video if you want to. What in the hell are you doing sitting on it? It doesn't make any sense to me, right? Ronnie and Anime were out searching. I wonder if they met up. Well, I don't know. And I think that's where we get into, that's where things get messy, right, Brian? Things get messy when you start, when you become a mind reader, when you start taking one fact from the left side and one fact from the right side, and then you put them together and you make you invent a storyline, and there's simply nothing of substance to support your storyline. One fact is correct and the other fact is correct. So I do know Anime was out there, and the reason I know she was out there is because she's got a video. She's kayaking on the lake where Adventures with Purpose right now today are diving looking for this little girl. So she's out there paddling around. She's got some little circus music playing in the background, and she's talking about what a beautiful day it is. And it is. It's lovely. Absolutely gorgeous. So she was there. Now, I don't know if Icked Mel was there, but I know he has talked about this case quite a bit. So there's a connection. There's something going on there. I don't mean in a sweetheart, honey way. I mean, there's a friendship. There's communication there, right? I'm blown away to find out that she's got this video, or supposedly has a video. Now, when people are going to talk about the firestorm that Ryan Upchurch has blown up, I'm not going to take a position on Ryan Upchurch did wrong or Ryan Upchurch did right, or Icked Mel did wrong or Icked Mel did right. I'm not going to today, right now, this minute. I'm not going to take a position on that problem, but I am going to be very vocal about XannamayX and the fact that the whole world is looking for video or photographs. Everyone, the police have been begging, and this chick has been sitting on this video according to the information that's out there. She's just been sitting on it, and she had no motivation. And if I'm wrong about this, Anime, I am easily corrected. I am what you call a fast learner. So you can correct me anything I say that is inaccurate. But it looks like you found no motivation to reveal this very, very, very important video of a party, that you felt quite relaxed sitting on this. And the only time that you got motivated to reveal it was when Ryan Upchurch started going after Icked Mel and Ronnie. And then it was like, oh, well, I'm going to talk about it and put it. Well, I mean, I don't think you've put it out yet, but at the very least, you're saying, no, Ronnie's real. Ryan is wrong. Ronnie is real. I know he's real. I'm in contact. No, we are in contact with Ronnie. We are in contact with Ronnie. I know he's real. And I know there was a party, because Ryan Upchurch was saying, well, we don't even know that there was a party out there that night. It looks like there was a group of about 20 or 30 people that came in. Not a big, huge party with 300 people. I myself said on a video, I believe from last night or maybe the night before, I said, well, maybe there wasn't a party of 300 people at the campground. Perhaps there was, in fact, a big, huge party in another location. And maybe these kids were at the other location and then they caravanned over to the campground for whatever happened between 9:30 and 12:30. So I said, maybe they did advertise some senior, shindig or whatever. That's fine. I'm not saying there was no party at all. I'm saying that the couple of pictures and the little snippets of video that we have seen, that wasn't a party, people. That was lunchtime. That was taking a lunch break at work and standing around out the parking lot while the smokers smoke. Legit, no more than 22 people in any single photograph. But the storyline coming from Sammy and Ronnie, 300 people. Do you guys have a concept of how many people 300 is? It's an enormous amount of people to be standing around in one area. You're talking at least 125, 150 cars. This is not something that people would easily overlook. This is a massive group of people. The amount of noise that they would make, just speaking in a normal tone, would be a cacophony. Add in music and alcohol and drugs. The lady that said, yeah, there was a whole line of cars that came in at 9:30. It was a whole line of cars that left at 12:30. She would have said, oh, it was a hellish night. You should have heard those wild kids over there carrying on. The music was driving me crazy. She said none of that. None of that. So there could have been a party. There could have been a big 300 people bash that got advertised at Sierra College in San Francisco and wherever else, Sammy said. But from the looks of it, what appeared to be where Kiely was seen, it was a smaller group of kids. But nonetheless, the point is now, based on XannamayX, she says that she's got a video. She's got video of the big, beautiful Spanish party. Right, sorry about that. Okay. You didn't see cans or bottles. No. Yeah, and that's another thing that came out, Brian. Very good point. A lot of people, the couple of photographs and whatnot that we have, like me, I have a touchscreen computer, right? So not only can I zoom in, make the screen bigger through the regular sizing of the screen, but I can then use my fingers to pull the picture even wider without any distortion. Zero distortion. No pixelation problems, no blurring, none of that. Okay. There's nothing on the ground. There's some pieces of paper. I did see something of interest. I'll never put it out in case it is exactly what it looks like. But what's not on the ground are all the bottles or Coke cans or whatever, right? Not there. Now we hear, I think yesterday when all of this stuff, twisted off with Icked Mel and XannamayX, that there were glow sticks. There was trash everywhere. There was glow sticks everywhere. It did look underwhelming. Yeah, absolutely. AK says, many videos were given to law enforcement. Open source searchers turned over 30 plus videos early on. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. So Sammy lied about that. Sammy said there were millions of pictures turned in or whatever. The cops have now come out and said nobody that was at the party will give us anything. No, we are not getting anything. Nobody has turned in anything. They got one video that does appear to have been a legitimate photograph that showed Kiely wearing the white and pink sweatshirt at the party. And that's when they came out and they said, you know, I know we put up the black Lana Del Rey shirt, but we're just going by someone saying that she borrowed that shirt. And the mother said, oh, that sweatshirt belongs to one of Kiely's friends. But the cops then said, but we know she wore the white and pink Odd Future sweatshirt at that party that night. But even that little snippet of video was not given by anyone that was at the party. That's my point. So, you know, something that the cops said that was really interesting to me. They said, we're looking for a needle in a haystack, and we don't know where the haystack is. Well, you know, when you first hear that, you think, well, this is just an it's a way of representing how they don't know anything. You know, they need to find this young lady and they just don't know. The only thing they know is that she is missing. That's all they actually know. They don't know. They don't even know where to start. He says, one of the cops said that, you know, we don't even really know where to look. I go back after all of this now and I think, okay, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack and we don't know where the haystack is. Well, let's just say the haystack is an analogy for the party. Well, that kind of makes it make more sense, doesn't it? This is like looking for a needle at a party, but we don't know where the party is. Which party was she at? And which gets me right back to my frustration and disbelief and incredulity that XannamayX has had video of a big, beautiful Hispanic party. And the reason I keep repeating those semantics is because that is her quote. That's how she described the party for which she has the video, right? And I couldn't believe my ears when I heard that. I thought, what? There was a party the same night next to the one that Kiely was at. You are describing it as a big, beautiful Hispanic party, almost like taunting, you know, oh, I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt. No, it wasn't a jar of dirt. That was video that these police and FBI agents had been combing the internet for because none of the kids would come forward. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you got Sammy running around going, me, come to me, tell me, I'm the one. Give me anything you might think is evidence. I'll make sure the cops get it. Me. And the cops come out and say, okay, guys, there's only one way to get the information to us. We got an anonymous tip line. And if you're too scared, why don't you go to a trusted adult and they will help you? No, Sammy. The cops did not say, if you're afraid, if you've got some information to get to us, just take it to our little bestie, Sammy. Just give the evidence to our new bestie, Sammy. And because she's an 18-year-old child who has recently graduated from high school, we're going to let her run the investigation. We're going to let her collect and catalog any evidence that may or may not end up coming to a court of law. That is what they did not say. And yet this young woman, in a very blatant fashion, she says, as clear as day, if you have information, come to me. We will go over into that van. Ooh, nothing creepy there. That's a direct quote. We will go over into that van. You can tell me what it is that you want the cops to know, and I will go tell the cops your evidence. Me. You can trust me. I mean, after all, me and Kiely, we have been such great friends for, well, I've known her a year, and then we started being friends about 6 months ago. We've been good friends for 2 months. 2 months. She's been my best friend for 2 months. Oh, wait a minute, because I thought you said you were friends for a year. How about this one? Kiely lived 13, 14 miles away from the park. And last time I checked, that averages out to about a mile a minute. And when asked how long would it take Kiely to get home from the party, then Sammy answered in quite an authoritative manner, 47 minutes. Yes, Kiely would drive home. It would be approximately 47 minutes. 47 minutes to go 11 miles? Really? Do you even know where your friend lives? It would appear that Mads was speaking to someone in the early days of this investigation, and she said, and I quote, "No, Kiely doesn't even really know Sammy. I mean, they hang out at the same parties together, but they're not friends," end quote. This is such a messy, confusing hornet's nest. It's shocking on a level I can't even imagine. And yet I'm going from video to video to video to video. Interviews, press conferences, YouTube channel, discussion commentary, some interviews, and it is just messy. Messy. But, and now you got Upchurch, right? And there is chaos in his wake. And you got Icked Mel over there, who's a beloved YouTuber. He's a beloved YouTuber. He is very low key. He's very calm. Not anything. This is so atypical for Icked Mel to be, in one of these, all of this confusion. But then, as other YouTubers are giving commentary, formulating opinions about Ryan and Rando Ronnie and Icked Mel, as people are watching all of this unfold and play out and forming their own opinions and whatnot, we get XannamayX, who comes out and says, "Oh, I have a video. I'm the one who knows that there's proof that there was a party that night. You are wrong, Ryan. There was a party. And the reason I know there was a party is because I have video of a big, beautiful Hispanic party that was next door to the one that Kiely was at." Question number one from me, after I caught my breath. Question number one, okay, so why haven't you turned it into the police? That's number one. Question number two, which party did your little friend Rando Ronnie go to? Did he go to your big, beautiful Hispanic party? Or did he go to the little gathering at the sanctuary of about 30 high school kids and a line of LED lights hanging out of the tree? So which party was Rando Ronnie in? Those are my two questions. All right, Anthony Ranch. She sits in a treetop all day long, rocking and a bopping and a singing this song. All the little birdies on Jaybird Street love to hear Robin going beep, 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 rockin' Robin. All right. I don't know anything about that, Rich. I don't know what that is. What's important about the tattoos? Well, I mean, a lot of people have tattoos. Yeah, you know what, Justin? Don't get me started singing. My next two, Red, is way too dramatic a song for me. I need to stick with Rockin' Robin. Hey, Mary Hildebrandt, how are you? Faraway Downs. Welcome, Sundown. Good to see you. Hey, good grandma. The 17. Okay, all right. Now, I did look into Kiely has the number 17 that is tattooed on her ribs. Does somebody else have a 17? Why haven't the people from the big, beautiful Spanish party come out in short shirt? That is a very good question, Abby. One. Absolutely. That is what I am so freaked out about. Hey, I was right. Ronnie is black and it's the same guy. But I'm not. I don't know that it was. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it. I always felt like the whole problem, the whole position that Ryan was ranting about was that there were two people, Miroslav, and Rando Ronnie, and one's white, one's black. So I didn't understand that whole white legs, African American guy. I didn't know. I don't know, and I'm not gonna. It was too confusing, and you know what? I felt so much better. I was thinking, that I was 17 is the album that Tenation last made. Oh God, don't get me singing Strawberry Wine. That is a hard song to sing. And I'm ranting. Damn it. Yes. Well, he says he has kids, Tim. I was looking to see what you guys were talking about with the 17 here. Ronnie needs to give names of the two so-called cousins that were giving out all the cocaine at the party that Kiely was at. Where's Summer? 1-800-TBI find. Okay, now look, at this point, Rando Ronnie should be at the FBI's office. Do you agree? At this point, with the way that this thing has blown up and become, thank you, AK. The way this thing has blown up, Ronnie needs to go to the cops. And I think XannamayX needs to go to the cops too, because she has now willingly put out information that, in spite of the fact that she has been covering this case and her good friend Icked Mel has been covering this case, that she has been sitting on a video for 2 weeks for a party that was right next to the little get together that Kiely was at. These people at this point, to cover their behinds, CYA people, Icked Mel, CYA, whether there's any reality or it's all just, delusional nonsense at this point, because it has become so vocal and so many YouTubers are covering this. There's so many videos being made. You guys need to go to the cops and come clean and just say, okay, here's the deal. This is the date I did the video. Then this dude, Ronnie, calls into my channel. I don't know who he is, but here he is. Here's the video where he called in. And this is what happened in this. If it was me, I would be totally covering my behind. And the very first thing I would do was to walk in with that video of the big party and go, oopsie, my bad. Don't know why I didn't turn it in. Don't know what I was thinking, but here it is anyway. I mean, do you guys realize do you guys realize that the police have now come out and said, we have an adult who is interfering with our investigation and we are going to prosecute? Do you realize that? They've had enough. The cops have had enough of people covering up whatever it was that happened to that group, that small group of kids out there. This is not a game. Well, the only situation I can see where it might be called a game would be if Kiely was abducted and is now being used for trafficking. And in that case, the people that took her may very well believe that this is a game. They may very well believe that at this point there's some kind of like cat and mouse thing happening, and that they're coming out on top so far, and that they're going to win this, right? At the very least. But for a couple of, random YouTubers that don't know, Ronnie from a hole in the ground, your names are out there and they're being talked about in a way that is quite frightening to be pushed toward an active investigation in this way. You guys y'all need to take that video and give it to the cops based on the videos that you made. And you need to take all of the interaction that's happened between y'all and these other people and just give it to the cops, so at least they know what's happening and there's no surprises. Because right now, I'm going to tell you, sitting on a video after all, when you consider all of the facts surrounding that night that Kiely went missing, the fact that we've got people that are convincing kids not to bring forward their photographs and their videos, right? You're sitting on a video for 2 weeks. You need an attorney, and you need to take that video to the FBI ASAP, in my opinion. Ronnie's video, wait a minute. Ronnie video 2, I don't have kids. He says he does not have kids, Tim? Good, Grandma. I got a job of debt. Probably wasn't another party. She was at the same party. No, Renata. Nope. I like to take people at their word. I like to use their words, what they say. And if I think that their words are problematic, I'll just ask them, am I misunderstanding what you said? This is what you said. Am I misunderstanding that? Did you intend for that to say something else? And what she says, clear as day, Renata, is that there was another party that night out there at the campgrounds. It was a big, beautiful Spanish party right next to the one with the kids. She knows there was a party out there because she's got the video. That's what she said. And that was in response to Ryan having this narrative, floating this idea that we don't even know, number one, if there was a party out there that night, and number two, if Kiely was there. Now, I disagree with that. I think we do know there was a party. The cops have admitted not only that there was a party out there, but that they do have video where they see her wearing the white Odd Future sweatshirt that night. So we do know, but nevertheless, so as Ryan is saying, well, we don't even know there was a party out there. That is when XannamayX starts going, oh, don't be so silly. Of course there was a party. I know there was another party. There was another party out there. And it was right next to the one where the kids were. And it was a big, beautiful Spanish party. And I have video of it. Same night, Kiely Rodni went missing. That is a problem, y'all. I'm late, but in my opinion, Upchurch has let this case go to his head. I'm a fan of both he and Ick. sometimes these cases get to us and we have to do ourselves a favor and take a mental break or breather. Yeah, I agree, Chelsea. XannamayX, whatever she called, said Ronnie had a family and kids. Well, I mean, that wasn't that the wasn't that the rationale for why Ronnie took down all of his social media? Isn't that what he told Icked Mel, that he took down all the social media because he's got kids? And his family was angry with him, and he was worried about their safety. You remember all that? So yeah, in a roundabout way, he is saying that he has kids and that he felt like um, the attention might not turn out very well. Ryan's not talking to you video till I gets out of court with Nicole. What? What? I don't know what you're saying, Jenny. Ryan. I don't know what that says. Can you rewrite that, please, Jenny? Mostly because I don't know who Nicole Arbor is, and I don't know what any of that is. Okay. Retro or Mel stages fake callers. Okay, Shannon Beal. I want to hear more about that. What do you mean Ickmed stages fake callers? Will you explain that, please? Like strawberry wine, 17. Had you not known? Donnie Darko says XannamayX was very smug about what she apparently knows. Plus, she has exactly 4 videos on her channel, all very random, except the latest one. I noticed that Dorney, I think I called you Donnie, but Dorney, I noticed that. And she's got 300 subscribers. So, but apparently she does true crime on Twitch, I believe. So maybe she's more into the whole true crime than it would seem, but it does seem like a person doesn't have any videos out there or anything. Why did she drive all the way to the park and put in her kayak with her little dog and go paddling around out there where they're actually diving for the car? What? Why was that one of the videos? It's odd. The motivation behind this stuff is very peculiar. I'm telling you, I'm blown away. I can't even say this enough. And you guys that have known me for a long time, y'all can tell I'm completely in shock. I don't understand how this girl has been sitting on this video for 2 weeks. That is so bizarre. And I don't know how she let that get away from her. You know what I mean? I don't know if she was so intent on protecting Ronnie. Maybe it was more about trying to control the narrative where Icked Mel was concerned. But regardless, I think she opened her mouth and admitted to having the video before she realized it. And then you know what she did? I couldn't believe this. This blew me away. Not as bad as the video. Knowledge of the video just totally shocked me to kingdom come. Okay. But the thing that really I couldn't believe is that, Upchurch, he likes the true crime stuff, right? Even like with Summer Wells and whatnot. And so he does go around, he watches a lot of YouTube true crime channels. He likes these cases. He likes to listen to them and whatnot. And occasionally he'll go up, on panel. Well, with this particular case, it's really, really taken a hold of him. And he has been on so many channels. Y'all, he was on Zav Girl. It was great. It was wonderful. It was so fun. So I don't think I want to. Do I want to say that? Let me think a minute if I want to say that. Hold on. Oh, why are you saying that? So anyway, okay, I'm going to say it. I don't care. I just got a message about something. It kind of, but this will be fine to say. This isn't a problem. Um, so he likes his Upchurch likes his true crime stuff, and he goes on all kinds of channels, and nobody talks about him singing, his music, who he is in terms of what he does for a job or anything like that. Nobody talks about that. When he goes up on panel, he's a panel guest just like anybody else up on panel. There's no kind of, you know, fangirling. No, nobody's, drooling and sucking up to him, and no, none of that. It's just a conversation with him, just like other panel members. He's polite to the other people on the panel. I mean, it's comfortable. This girl, XannamayX, just out of the blue, when he's talking about the stuff that's going on with Icked Mel and Rando Ronnie, out of the blue, she says, well, let's talk about you, because Ryan's making the case. He's saying, if you're going to put yourself out there, you're going to call into a YouTube channel and talk as if you yourself were at the party and you experience these things firsthand, then people are going to question, who are you? Were you one of the guys out there? You're talking about bringing cocaine and other things. Was it you? Were you one of the guys out there that you're describing? And that's just kind of how it goes. And if you're going to put yourself out there, people are going to try to learn about it. And so then she responds by saying, oh, okay. Okay, well, let's talk about you then. To which point he throws his hands up in the air and he says, okay, what? I'll talk about me. I'll talk about me in this case and my interest in it, whatever. And she says, well, let's talk about your music. Let's talk about your music. Well, you could see right then and there, he was just disgusted. He was like, I don't want to talk about my damn music. I'm not here to talk about music. I'm not working. I'm here to talk about this whole true crime thing. I'm in the true crime community. That's what I want to talk about. So she was kind of, she's kind of sketchy. Yeah, that's true, Jupiter. Yep. Um, I do too, Diane. Let's see. Okay. Oh gosh, I should have slowed the chat down. I can't find the response to my question. She opened her mouth because church made her mad. That's what he does. He gets people mad in interviews, and then they speak fast before they are thinking about what they say. Okay. So, I would love Ryan to come with those. Oh, well, not. That's I don't know Ryan Upchurch. A rich man with time in his hands and a huge heart. He does have a huge heart. He has offered up his Hellcat to be donated as part of the reward fund. I don't know if you guys know that or not, which was really an amazing idea, because these are kids, either high school or young adult. These are kids that are not talking. And there's a lot of those kids that would sure be happy to be driving around in a Hellcat, right? So no, I do think I think he's got a big heart. I do. And I do think that he gets very animated and energized by his ideas. Um, I also think that I also think he's reached out to the cops and gave them information. So, this is a weird, I'm telling you, a lot of people are trying to say this has gotten kind of crazy because Upchurch, I say he suffers from an excess of personality. He's an interesting guy. He's certainly his brain works 90 miles a minute. I mean, you're still thinking about what he just said, and he's moved on to a new topic. So it can sometimes be a little difficult to follow. But I mean, the information that he has come up with, he has turned it over to the police. Unlike this young woman who has a video she can vouch for the fact that there was a parallel party, a big party that same night next to the one where Kiely was. And the reason that she can speak with such authority is because she has a video that she has been sitting on for 2 weeks and has not given to the police, in spite of them doing press conferences nearly daily asking, please, if you have video from that night, please give it to us. To me, that is the biggest piece of information that has come out in the last 5 days of this. That we have a young woman who has a video of this parallel party. And she's going to use that video to protect Rando Ronnie, to protect his good name, the drug dealer. Oh, no, I'm not talking about drug dealer today. I'm talking about the stories that he told while he was on the channel with Icked Mel, and laughingly reminisced about his earlier days back in what was it, 2016, where he was going out to those very same parties and giving drugs to some of the girls that same age, and then those girls would show him attention. They've been doing it for years, says Rando Ronnie. Everyone knows it. It may be shocking to people in the other parts of the country, but here everyone knows it's going on, unquote. So it's a great guy, Rando Ronnie, who knows all about all the different drugs and how to go out to Placer State Park where the underage girls will be, and you give them drugs and then the girls will hang out with you. He told us all about it, how it had been going on even 10 years ago. By his own admission. Nobody's making up rumors about the guy. He said it. All the videos are, there. You can listen to them. And the cops have been told about Icked Mel's channel. They know about the videos that are there. You can bet your bottom dollar they've listened to all of those videos with Ronnie and Icked Mel. They have. You sit on a video for 2 weeks with this young lady missing? Listen, XannamayX, you have no idea what is on that video. You apparently don't know anything about what happened to that young lady. You have no idea if there might be somebody in that video that could be directly connected to her. That's the big deal, y'all. That's a big, huge, huge piece of information. Let me ask y'all this. What she didn't know is Ryan is always super focused. Oh, totally, Damron. No, you can watch him. You listen to him when he's talking. He's not rambling and saying things that are nonsensical. He knows what he's saying. He talks fast. He talks loud, but he doesn't lose track of his thoughts, does he? He doesn't switch his topic in mid-sentence. His brain is sharp. It's coming boom, 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 boom. And I'm the first one to admit, he says things sometimes and you think, well, what's going on here, Ryan? Are you a little bit delusional? And then about the time you're about to decide he's delusional, then, he drops the bomb and it all makes sense what he's saying. But that is just YouTube drama. All of that big whole argument and whatnot. It's important. I can't even stress what a big piece of information this is. that this young woman has been holding on to video of a parallel party that was right next to where Kiely was, and she's admitting it. And she doesn't bring that out in hopes of finding Kiely or figuring out what happened to Kiely. She brings it out when people begin to question Ronnie and Icked Mel. Then she brings it out. I don't know. Seems very suspicious to me. Seems very, very suspicious to me. Right? Yeah. And the giggling and the laughing. And I get it. What about the music? You know, she's going out there, right out there where a young woman has just been, well, we believe she's been abducted. Maybe there was a horrible accident. Perhaps she accidentally overdosed. Perhaps there was a fight. She got, hit in the temple and instantly died on the spot. Perhaps it was something more nefarious. Perhaps she was set up by a group of mean girls. Remember Skylar Niece? Who recalls that nightmare? But she goes out there. She takes her kayak, and she goes out and she's paddling around out there, right there, where right now today, Adventures with Purpose is looking for that baby. Think about it. It is truly, truly heartbreaking. And Deadpool, 100%, I'm with you. 100%. She owes me nothing. Hell, I wasn't even part of the conversation. I was simply an observer. I was only watching, right? Doesn't owe me anything. But she damn sure owes Kiely that video. She certainly owes the video to Kiely's mother and father, 100%. She damn well owes the video to the FBI and the sheriff's department and even the local police. Yes, she does owe that to somebody, Deadpool, but not to me. You're absolutely correct. Yep, absolutely correct. Okay, and the whole, naked boys coming in here dropping their link and all that, you know what? Most of us in here are over the age of 40. We're not very shocked about naked people. I don't know why you come in and drop your link. Nobody ever clicks on it and goes. It's goofy. All right. If you're going to call in and say you have firsthand witness, you're getting scrutinized. Of course. Absolutely, Shannon. I agree. No, Becky, you are not blocked. I wonder why it won't let you comment. But you're not blocked. I can see your comments. When this is over, I'll check it and see. Sammy just baloney it out, like saying she or them did it. I don't know. Hey, Alley Cattails, how do you know she didn't already turn it in? Kiely deserves better. Georgia stalker. Wow, that is uncalled for. I didn't see what the South Georgia stalker said. Or stalker or stacker. Maybe I have South Georgia blocked because I don't see a. Oh yeah, I do. All they need to do is go to Icked Mel's and they'll find her. No. No. I don't know that. Let's not go. That's not. No, come on. He's been really public. His face is out there for a long time. He is very well respected. He's well loved. Like I said at the beginning of this live, he is fairly low key. Y'all agree? If you listen to Icked Mel, if you listen to his channel and you have a pretty good handle of his, personality, style, and all that. If he's generally very low key and calm and measured, put a 1. If he's just a live wire, have no idea what he's going to say or do next, put a 2. Let's just see how it falls out. I tend to think he's pretty stable, pretty calm. I would agree with you, William. I think Sammy has got a lot of explaining to do to the FBI and the sheriff's department and to Kiely's mother. A lot of explaining. I mean, we could do a whole just one live where all I talk about are the things that Sammy has said or done directly, where the cops have now come out and given us comments and proof that what Sammy originally said was just simply not true. And the day that the white sweatshirt with the odd future pink graphics is on it, the day that that information was told by the police, a couple of YouTubers that had been trying to get her to come on and do interviews. She was everywhere. She was doing interviews with everybody up until that day. And when they made the announcement about that they had a video where they saw her wearing it at the party, she responded and said that she's not doing any more interviews. And now the rumor is, this is rumor, please, rumor. Of course, Grizzly True Crime. Hey, total respect. I have great faith in Gazelle. She's the one reporting this, and she has generally been on point with the things that she's come out with. Okay, so her reputation goes before her. I think she's trustworthy. I've never heard of a situation in the past where she's put out some big blockbuster information that turned out later to be false. And she is the one that is saying that Sammy and her family have now left California. They're not there anymore. That is very interesting because we had Sammy saying she had been accepted into a California college. So why are they all jumping up and leaving? One possibility, maybe a last hurrah before college starts. But my understanding is that colleges in California have already started classes. So I don't know. But like I said, Giselle, I believe her. So. Please give law enforcement anything you have, even if you don't think it's important. Maybe Rando Ronnie is the one that set up the drug dealers, his cousins, to go to the party to produce the cocaine at the party for the young females there. No, Becky, you're not blocked. What happened on all lives? It's just spam. Yeah, I don't know. I thought Ronnie was the guy who had come close, talked to Ryan at the beginning. There's two guys. There's Miroslav, who's a white guy, and then there's Ronnie, who is said to be the black guy. But if you go to Icked Mel's channel, Alaska, he did an interview with Ronnie where you can actually see Ronnie's face. And he's definitely an African-American dude. Why did he come to YouTube when they're suspects? They should go straight to law enforcement, keep their mouths shut unless they are creating a fake narrative. Thank you, Evil. I don't know what they're doing, but I do know this. They have created quite a hornet's nest of just random chaos. I mean, it's just crazy what has happened. But despite all of the yaya, despite all of the hoopla and hullabaloo, one thing stands out. She's had this video for 2 weeks. That's what stands out. And somebody, I don't remember who it was, somebody said, well, how do you know? How do you know that she hadn't turned it into the cops? Because the cops said so. Because the cops said yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before yesterday, the last press conference that they did, that no one has turned in a video or photographs. The only video or photograph they have is what their investigators were able to go online and procure. themselves. None of the people in attendance have come forward. Interesting, isn't it? Also quite hard to believe. You have a party with 300 people there? You mean to tell me there's not a single person there who doesn't want that $75,000 cash or Ryan Upchurch's Hellcat, a car said to be valued close to $100,000? Really? High school kids don't want a Hellcat and $75,000? I don't believe that. So what in the world is going on that they're able to keep 300 kids quiet? Because it wasn't 300 kids. That's why, in my opinion. Not at that party. Not where something happened to her. There was a smaller group of kids there, 20 to 30 people. They came up there at 9:30 and they all left at 12:30, which also coincides with the last verified contact with her phone, 12:33. The cops said themselves, we got a verified 12:33 ping, and we have not verified anything beyond that. Meaning, Sammy's comments about how Kiely called her bullshit. It didn't happen, and the cops all but said that. So what were they doing? Why do you have a line of cars coming in at 9:30 and the same line of cars leaving at 10:30? I mean at 12:30. Why? The kids' timeline, they all say the same thing, these individual facts, but they contradict each other accidentally a few times. One of the biggest was Rando Ronnie when he's speaking to Icked Mel. And he says, no, I'm sorry. He was actually talking to Ryan Upchurch. Church says something like, he said, well, how do you know she's drunk? Or how do you know something? I think that's what he said. And the guy's kind of, Ronnie is kind of flustered and whatnot. And he says, cuz my cousin saw her. She was drunk earlier in the day. Quote unquote. She was drunk earlier in the day. Earlier in the day? What? So how were his cousins seeing her earlier in the day when they didn't know her? How did they just pick out this one girl who it looks like is on the, a path of utter and complete destruction by being abducted or accidentally died or was the focus of a mean girl's conspiracy to commit murder? How is it that it just so happened that the one girl at the party who's going to disappear into oblivion, that his two cousins watch her all night and go, wow, look at this drunk girl. She's going from group to group, back and forth. And she's so drunk, I bet she can't drive. And we don't know her, but just watch her. Just look. Look how friendly she is to everyone. And it just so happens she's the one that goes missing, but your cousins don't know her. But your cousins gave her so much importance that they could tell you everything she did that night, including what she did earlier in the day. That makes no sense. And yet, Ronnie says it, bigger in Dallas. And when he's questioned, he said, Icked Mel says, what do you mean earlier in the day? I mean, even Icked Mel picked up on that and said, okay, this isn't right. What's happening here? Right? And he says, oh, well, like, 8 or 9 o'clock. And then it's like, but wait a minute. She didn't even arrive to the party until 10:30. You said your cousins didn't get there till 10:30. Now you're saying earlier in the day means 10:30, the minute they saw her? What? So that was only, that is one snippet of Rando Ronnie opening his mouth and inserting foot. Hey, Logan Melton, good to see you. Hey, Sky Blue. Plus, she said she knew exactly what was happening. Kiely Rodni will never be found because I think the murderer is really, really smart. I don't, I don't think the murderer is really smart. I think it's a cover up. I think my whole heart and soul, even though I'm open to other possibilities, don't get me wrong. Okay. I haven't foreclosed on an idea, an explanation for what could have happened. But my inner voice tells me that possibly, I guess I should say, Occam's razor is generally the rule of thumb. I think that bad things happen when people get together and they're drinking or using drugs or whatever. I think that there was a fight and the cops mentioned it a couple of times, and that means it was important to them. And I have to wonder, did she accidentally get pushed as a result of this fight? Did her head hit a rock? Was she a part of the fight, perhaps? Some kind of beat in for the whole gang, hazing kind of thing? Was that part of this? Maybe it was an overdose. A lot of people feel like it could have been, an overdose. They just had a 15-year-old girl in June overdosed accidentally. So, I kind of think that's probably where this is all going to come out when it's finished. That it was an accident, mean girl group, fight gone wrong, something like that. But then it was the cover up, right? That's what gets you. It's the cover up. And the way that this is all unfolding, it's a cover up. That's why you have people stepping on each other's stories, and even though they repeat these obscure facts that are exactly the same, like that somehow lends it credibility. It's the process of what they say that gets all messed up. And you're like, okay, earlier in the day, what do you mean she was drunk earlier in the day? How? What are you talking about? Oh, well, earlier in the day, she was making creme brulee. Nothing to see here. Me and my friend Kate standing in the kitchen. Mom's gone to a car show. We're just making creme brulee. But meanwhile, back in the ranch, Rando Ronnie is telling people that girl was so drunk earlier in the day. These stories, it looks like a cover up. That's the truth. Now, could it be an abduction? Hell yes. Do I wish that the police would have issued an Amber Alert? 100%. This is one of those situations that they had an Amber Alert. If you'd had eyes looking for that car, I think it could have been a complete and total game changer. Complete. Blake has got questions. I got questions too, Blake. It's a crazy story, right? So tell me, what are your questions, Blake? What did they do with the car? I believe, Anna, I think the involvement in Adventures with Purpose, I think it's going to be a game changer. It is their specialty to do these dives in really muddy, murky water. They have sonar that they can use. I mean, they're used to dealing with this type of environment. You know, it's not out in the ocean where you've got visibility. You know, this is a dark, murky, you know, sooty kind of water. And yeah, Tommy Lou, or Tammy Lou. So I think here's why I think it's a game changer. If Adventures with Purpose they don't find the car, then that raises the possibility, the likelihood that it was a abduction. If they do find the car, then we have our answer. It was a cover up. Something bad happened and it was a cover up. Have you watched the woman who set up that GoFundMe for her mom? She's a realtor? No. Why can't she hide something in one of those houses? Well, there are people, Deadpool, that that have wondered if maybe the car was, you know, put in somebody's garage. Now, Kel Mason, thank you, Kel. Kel Mason has got an idea that I haven't heard before. I have not heard this. Kel is suggesting, you know, just saying what if, not saying that it's true, but just thinking out loud. What if Icked Mel and Ronnie made up the story for likes? Well, that would be very unfortunate. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to be quiet. You guys put in your opinion. What if it came out? What if Icked Mel and Rando Ronnie were exposed that they really didn't know anything at all about Kiely and did not go to a party there and don't have cousins that went to the party? Nothing. No connection. That they sort of built up this as a way to get people to watch their videos, their channel, increase views, increase, you know, we have more subscribers. How would you react to that? What's your opinion if a YouTuber would do that? I mean, I don't know that I've seen anybody concoct a whole lie. No, that's not true. I can think of one. Oh, Joseph Morris. Remember, Joseph Morris did it. Do y'all remember? During Gabby Petito, he took old video of someone being on a boat, and he put that out there and said that he got that off of Brian's Instagram to make everybody think that Brian was on his way to Portugal or Brazil or, you know, somewhere down there. So that was, yeah. So let's see what everybody says. How would you feel if you came to learn that Icked Mel and Rando Ronnie concocted this story and they know nothing about the disappearance? They simply wanted to get extra views for the YouTube channel. What is your comment about that? Like, what would you think about that? Oh, I agree, Angelina. Adventures with Purpose will find the car if it's there. Absolutely. Angelina, they definitely charged their phones earlier in Kiely's car. Sammy slips and said that she was driving on the way home. I did wonder if she makes so much attention on the fact she was in the car because she's afraid of, you know, if they find the car, her DNA will be in it. Telling you, Ronnie knows nothing. He is trying to make himself relevant. He knows nothing. Did we not learn our lesson from Jody Sue and poor little Summer's name being dragged through the mud? Ugh, that was still is heartbreaking, right? Terrible story. Frankie, baby. First he said he watched Kiely, and then he said his cousins watched her. Didn't he? Yes, Frankie, baby. That's exactly what he said. That was one of those moments that you just sort of went, ugh, the guy was there. He saw her, right? car is in storage location nearby, not enough time to get it out of the area. I would agree with that, South Georgia. Yeah. I mean, if it didn't get sunk in the water, there's no way they drove it out, right? Not if it was that night that it happened. Army Mom of Two says she does not believe the car's in the lake. Okay. Mags looks as if she could break at any moment. Yeah, she looks fairly fragile. I could still be an addiction ditch the carcass. Cars are easy. Many ways to hide a car. If not water, they change plates, paint, chop shop, put it in. Also, now Carla brings up about the chop shop. Thank you for that, Carla. Don't forget when we were able to see Jagger's Instagram and TikTok, he had a car project in a barn where he took a very, very old car, like late 60s, and he renovated it all the way till it was just this beautiful, shining, muscle car, and took the car to shows. So we know one guy in the picture that would definitely be able to cut up a car, but there would have to be a connection between Jagger and whomever took her. So but he does have the barn. He does have the stuff available to do that if he was involved at all. They already started, Augustina. I believe yesterday was the first. No, maybe Thursday was the first day. Yeah, maybe the car is in a storage unit. Did someone bring up a storage unit? I don't remember that, Heather. Maybe though, because there's so much information put out already. Maybe the car could be in a garage. Oh yeah, everybody think is. Have the cousins talk to the police about what all they have seen. Why were your own cousins watching her so closely? Yeah, I mean that's the point. They didn't know her, but he could tell what she was doing all night and who she was talking to and how she acted and where she went. No, she was drunk during the day. Earlier in the day, she was drunk. Really, Ronnie? How do you know? So Ronnie's got a problem. I don't, you can throw out chafe and try to distract people from paying attention, to Ronnie and what he said. But the crap he said on the phone calls with Icked Mel is, he's got splaining to do. That's all I got to say. A toy hauler? I don't know what a toy. Does Ronnie have a toy hauler? Logan said it could all be for show. How is it we have a ton of GPS tracking satellites like Operation Blackjack and cell towers, cameras everywhere, and this keeps happening? Only makes sense to me if people who know the tech are doing this. That is a absolutely good point, Jen. And one that I'm telling you, in the past month, I have been sitting around shaking my head going, where are all of these people going? Who's taking them? How are they hiding them? Where are they? I am beginning to feel very uncomfortable about this stretch of Highway 80 from California to Salt Lake City. We got missing young people all over the place, but it's all right there at Highway 80. It does seem like I don't know if it's a serial killer. I don't know if it's a group that is abducting people for trafficking. I don't know who's doing it or why. But you got an awful lot of missing kids in a very, very specific geographical area. It's pretty creepy. That is what I believe also. That's the rumor on the YouTube streets. What's the rumor, Allie? Yeah, no, Monte Carlo. Yeah, I'm totally with you. The first red flag is the case of the fact that there are no photographs and no video floating around the internet. Absolutely. But I am bigger in Dallas. I am freaked out about this young woman, XannamayX, who now comes out and she's got video from a big party that night that was parallel to the party where the kids were at. She's using that video to protect Ronnie and Icked Mel, not to say, hey, use this and see if you can find Kiely. Big, huge red flag. Huge red flag. I think that also just for viewers. Okay, so you think okay, so the rumor then, I guess that's what Allie was talking about. You guys believe or there's a rumor that really Ronnie and Icked Mel obviously don't know they in no way have any connection to Kiely, right? But that they sort of concocted this condition, this story that would get people to come running over to the channel, and that maybe somehow Ronnie might know who took her. And you think, it, but that would be that. I mean, let's be clear. That still would be, I mean, that would be fraud, wouldn't it? Maybe not. There might be people that would say that was fine, that that was just a form of entertainment. There might be attorneys that could make that case. That doesn't seem like Icked Mel's style at all. Yeah, Phoebe, I'm going to agree with you completely. He seems really low key, calm, rational, logical, mature. I would be really surprised, but I also have not been watching him very long. Um, I'm pretty I gotta tell you, I don't think, honest, full disclosure here, I don't believe that Icked Mel would be working in tandem with Ronnie. Okay, let me just say that out. I watched, I've watched those pre videos so many times and paid so much really, really close attention to Icked Mel's reactions when Ronnie's talking and that kind of thing. I don't get the feeling that Icked Mel was expecting Ronnie to say anything. He didn't see. He genuinely seemed on the second day when he goes back and he listens again what happened when he was live, right? When he was live, he was like, "Why are y'all saying that? That's dumb. There's no reason for you to believe, that the guy sounds shady or anything." Well, then people were still like, "Oh my God, he's totally shady, Icked Mel. You got to listen. He's really shady." So then Icked Mel goes back and watches it now a second time. He does this live, so everybody's watching and listening, and he does it live, and you can see there's moments where he's like, "Okay, that's a little bit uncomfortable. What's this about?" You can see his opinion changing in the moment. Does that make sense? So that's the reason I'm saying I don't believe that Icked Mel and uh, Ronnie knew each other and were working together before all this happened. I do still think Ronnie is shady. I'm not getting into the whole white legs and I don't know what all that was about, and I'm not gonna. I don't even know what it was about. But I do think that Ronnie said some things that were horribly uncomfortable. Um, I think his natural propensity to describe what he saw and did as his first person observer looked really bad for him. Really bad. But I don't think Ickedmel was a part of it. Now, at this point, do I think that Ickedmel and XannamayX are trying to help Ronnie? That they're trying to normalize what Ronnie's gotten into? That they're trying to cover up and try to help Ronnie or whatever? Yes, 100%. Yes. But remember this. They didn't know Ronnie from Adam's House Cat, is my understanding. So they better be careful who they're white knighting for. They better be very careful about that because they don't know him. And you can hear him just like I did. And he said, oh, she was totally drunk earlier in the day. There's no way to spin that comment, y'all. There's no way to spin it. All right. Because you know it's a crock, Jason McBride. Oh, let's see what Jason McBride said. Where's Jason? Jason McBride. Jason McBride. Jason McBride. Jason McBride. There he is. How come Icked's interview today with Ronnie wasn't live, like Upchurch said? Good question. Why wouldn't you have just gone live, right? Why wouldn't you have just gone live? I don't know why they chose to do it that way. Maybe those were the conditions that Ronnie set. Maybe Ronnie told Icked Mel that he would not go live, that he wanted to see the completed interview before it was ever uploaded. That's possible. Right? Angelina ATF, I miss you here. Are you making money over there or just interested? I don't know who you're talking about. I know who Angelina is. I know who Hybrid Pisces is, but where is she? Why are you saying, is she making money over there? What does that mean? Is she streaming us? Hi, Jamie Lunas. How are you? Hey, Kels. Welcome, Ann Arwood. No, Mel Mistake is siding with a caller who has changed his story. I totally agree, Shannon. Yeah. I'm going to blow wigs back if you'll allow me. What? Huh? Icked Mel did admit that he used to hack people's computers and watch through their cameras. Who else could be watching? You? Kiely? Okay. XannamayX was sending information to Ronnie during the live. Really? Well, you're just guessing that, right? Like you don't know that to be fact. Okay. All right. There's some comments about, hey, Scarlett, Marshall Phillips, welcome. If someone is streaming you, strike their channel. That is redonkulous. I know. I don't know who's streaming me. Is Alex? She wouldn't normally stream us, though. She's our friend. Frisco Chick, setup call in. Lots of people are suggesting that. I don't know. I don't know what the truth is, but wouldn't the cargo shorts be one length? And that was, though, we were seeing. Is Lainey's Daily Day consider donating to addiction recovery in Lainey's name? Worth mentioning that Upchurch covers Lainey better than any other. Thank you, Hybrid. Where's Ryan at? I have no idea, Ashley. I'm not friends with Ryan. I'm not enemies either, but we don't know each other. Well, he may know who I am, but I don't know who he is. I know who he is, but y'all, never mind. I will move along because this is just redonkulous. Bubs, thanks. I'm going to read into it after this. Welcome, Rich. Good to have you. No, you would be wrong, South Georgia Stacker. Okay, so South Georgia Stacker says that Ryan Upchurch is the only reason this case is getting attention. That is not true. Lots of people were covering this case before Ryan got involved on YouTube. Look at Zav Girl. Like me and Zav Girl were on talking about it even just days after it happened. Zav Girl has had huge panels. Perplex QT is covering the case quite a bit. No, you're absolutely wrong about that. This has been one of those cases that really captured the attention of many of us creators. Bowling with cotton balls. If Mel was as experienced as everyone says, he would have known better than to do any of these interviews. I just felt that it was preposterous to I don't even understand how someone, an adult his age, I can't understand how anyone would think that it was a good idea to call into a YouTube channel and say, oh yeah, totally. I know two guys that were there. They were there. They had drugs and other people had drugs. And they used those drugs to, get close to young girls that normally wouldn't give them the time of day. And this has been going on for a decade. And everybody else may be shocked, but it's the norm in this part of the country. And like, what did Ronnie think was going to happen? Right? I mean, nothing could go wrong here, right? So now he's got not only himself in hot water legally, but he's got the cousins in hot water. So Icked Mel, no matter what you say, I mean, you put the guy up on your channel, his face for all the world to see, including the FBI and the Sheriff's Department, which is great. I'm glad that they know who Rando Ronnie is now. So, Ronnie, you better be expecting a visit or two because it's coming. And look at the little high school children. How do we know the cousins talk to the police? We don't, Brian. And I will tell you this, Brian. My opinion, I don't believe they did. I do not believe that they did. I think that Ronnie said that when he realized that people in the side chat were saying, oh my God, you shouldn't be on here saying these things. You should have contacted the Sheriff's Department and your cousin should be talking to the Sheriff's Department. All that information needs to be with them. You don't want to put that kind of stuff out there. What if this thing goes to trial one day? You spread it around all over YouTube. It's not going to be admissible. It'll be a hearsay problem. Nobody will know where it originated. And I think when he saw how so many people were, saying, that's so stupid for you to be here saying these things, then I think he felt like he had to walk it back. Oh no, they've already talked to the cops. No, who believes do you believe they went to the cops realistically? Do you think they went to the cops? Because I don't. I mean, their cousin, Rando Ronnie, saying on the air how they had drugs and cocaine and were giving it to the kids because that's been going on for 10 years. Do you think those guys are going to go tell? Oh, yeah, we were there, giving out party favors to the little kiddies. No, that's just silly. No, didn't happen that way. Well, no, they shouldn't. No, I agree, Frisco chick. I agree. I think you're wrong about that, Bunny Bubs. Like your name, by the way. The reason I think you're wrong about this, in this case specifically, is this. There's been such a paucity of information. It's just been a vacuum with nobody coming forward to give information. And I think at this point, the cops have sort of deviated from searching for Kiely. Now they're searching for who the hell is shutting down this investigation. And I think Sammy is stop number one. But I think in all that has unfolded, I totally think they're going to pay Ronnie a visit, especially now that we see his face. They can figure out who he is. And of course, the topic is not being very polite. I don't know why people want to come in here being nasty. Anyone with information about Kiely is asked to call the Placer County Sheriff's Office. Dedicated line is 530-581-6320, option 7. You can remain anonymous. Yes. Information was sent by Ryan Upchurch to the police. Whose parents went to clean up at 4:30 and all collectively told their kids to delete all their footage? Now, Queen of Hearts, girl, let's talk. Why are you saying some parents went to clean up at 4:30 a.m.? Can you tell me that, please? I'm just gonna wait for you to respond to that. Hi, Krista. So there is a YouTuber named Icked Mel, and he's a pretty big YouTuber, got several 100,000 subscribers. He had a caller into his show that is named Ronnie, and Ronnie told the story of Kiely being at the party in first person narrative, blaming his two cousins for being at the party, and that's how he got his information. And since that time, Ryan Upchurch, who really enjoys true crime, he's gotten involved in the picture. And Ryan believes that Ronnie, the call in to Icked Mel's channel, that he knows something about what happened to Riley. I'm sorry, Kiely. And that's about it in a nutshell. And so the result has just been amazing amounts of drama. You were on the phone with me until 6 a.m. Who? Were there even 300? I don't believe there were 300 people there. No. Oh, and somehow Ryan has now been kicked out of his Instagram. Upchurch is why I tapped. Thank you, Jeff. I hope you will. I hope you will subscribe and develop an appreciation for true crime. Tammy Lou asked, really? Got hacked? Oh, I don't know, Jason. I don't know. I just know that, it was weird. And let's see. South Georgia Stacker says, no, Ryan believes Icked Mel is involved as well. You must not watch what Ryan actually uploads. Hey, South Georgia, don't you come in here starting trouble, Buster. I do watch him. I know what he put up. I know. I know. But look, Icked Mel is a solid he is a solid, reliable, predictable creator. He's got a big channel. He hadn't been here 2 or 3 times, couple of videos. He's been here a long time. He's really proven himself to be stable, fairly good guy and all that. I'm not going to start throwing slander around that's going to have the potential to ruin him in terms of his professional, reputation. It's not my role. I'm here to tell a story, to give some reaction, and to, tell my opinion. So that's what I'm trying to do. But I can promise you, South Georgia, I have watched all of this. Anything that's been put up about this young woman, I've watched it. No, you're okay, Queen of Hearts. I just wanted to know if we had some good information out there that parents were out there at 4:30 a.m. I have a reason to believe that they were out there, actually. That's why I asked. The federal government, FBI, please start handing out warrants to cell service providers. This can give some pinpoints on a map. Yeah, 100%, Teresa. Anybody they can take the few pictures they have, identify the kids, I would totally get those warrants. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out. Evil entered. It's not going to be put to the side, Gypsy. It's big. I agree, Rich Lucky. 100% I agree with you. And it does appear it's possible that there was at least two out there, two men. What was the point of Ronnie's call if he had no information on the missing teen? Yeah, that's exactly, Nikki. Okay, Lanikia, you're 100% right. Okay, so that is what we have. That's your mindset, y'all. When you're thinking about this whole Ronnie and Icked Mel problem, here's how it goes. Ask yourself, what is the point of Ronnie calling into any YouTube show? Okay, not I'm not going to pick on Icked Mel specifically. Any channel that's discussing the disappearance of Kiely. What's the motivation that Ronnie has for calling in? Now, there are some people that would say, oh, well, because he's a liar. He just wants his 5, seconds of fame, minutes of fame, or whatever. All right. But I don't tend to believe that. Maybe if you're at a party and there's people standing around watching you, then you might be motivated to get a little bit of fame. But how do you get any kind of fame? How do you get any kind of narcissistic supply if you call in, you're faceless, you're not on the camera, no one knows who you are, you're just this random nobody on the internet? How are you going to get cheap thrills by telling a lie about a little girl? How does that do anything for you? And that is exactly the reason that I went back to Icked Mel's channel and took another listen to that original phone call. Because I said, yeah, really thinking about human behavior, motivation, and drive, what would explain this nobody from nowhere with no face, no friends online, none of that? What would create a drive in this guy to call in to Mel's channel and say, hey, I know two dudes that were there, and here's what they found out? Number one, you run a terrible risk of getting the attention of law enforcement. And number two, what do you get? But what do you get for it? If you're telling a lie, how does anything come back on you? And so then that sends me to the thought, maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe you did have a couple of cousins or friends that went out there. But then when you listen to exactly what he did say, like, oh, well, they saw her drunk early in the day. Then the way he said it, when he caught himself in the way that he restated whatever it was that he caught himself saying, boom, he goes from first person to third, or completely changes the subject, what he was going to say. Tammy Cook, don't you come in here telling me what to do, little missy. Tammy says, yelling. You know what, Tammy? You need a spanking. I don't like for people to come in yelling at me. And don't come in yelling at the people here either. Everybody's being nice to each other. Everything's going just great until Tammy Cook got here and began screaming and yelling and all acting like she was something and a bag of chips. All right. Like Ryan says, they are painting a picture. You know what, Damron? I said too, back when it was Sammy and Jagger all of that. From the very beginning, those girls were telling people what to believe. From day one, Sammy had a microphone in her face. And now we know 2 weeks later, the cops themselves, the press conferences they gave in the last few days, they have told us, without saying the words, they have told us Sammy has lied. Not once, not twice, many times. And they're finished with her. You can see and hear the irritation as they're saying, we have nothing verified after 12:33. She was not wearing a black Lana Del Rey sweatshirt. She actually was seen at the party on video wearing the white and pink Odd Future sweatshirt. So it is this thing is not over, I don't think. I think at the very least, we may never know what happened to Kiely, but I think that Sammy and some of the others will end up having to answer to the cops for their behavior, the things they've said. AJ thinks that the cousins were make-believe. Cup of silver bullets. Maybe they should pass a law that people will get charged for making this up in cases like this. Oh, I would welcome that, cup of silver bullets. Hey, Katie, if my son was at a party where a girl went missing and he saw the girl there, I might call into a show to talk about what he saw. Of course, I would never do that now. Let's see. Timestamp 2040, Ronnie actually admits to being there. People tend to remember what is being said. Exactly, Foul Carney. How would they even see her before the party? Which is why it was so crazy when he said, well, she was drunk earlier in the day. Shannon Beal said, well, Mel is not going to be allowed to ride in Ryan's Range Rover. There you go. Mic drop. Yeah, AJ, a lot of people are saying that. Yeah, bye, Tammy. Well, she was rude, and we're all such a nice group of people. We don't yell at each other and act ugly, do we? Even when we have different opinions, we just listen to each other and accept each other's opinions. How do I call in? I got some input on this whole thing. Okay, I'm scared, AJ. Okay, I'll put a link up, AJ. You can click the link. Copy the clipboard. Nothing inappropriate, AJ, okay? Paste. All right. Y'all get ready for anything, okay? Hang on. Hang on to your hats and your asses. Frankie, baby. I think Sammy's 100% involved. Regardless, whoever is involved, Sammy is involved. If Ronnie did change the name to Miro, then he can't say anything about Ryan thinking what he did. Oh, no. I totally understand how Ryan made that connection. I don't think people should be charged unless they're doing it with malicious intent. Mens rea is what you're talking about, right? Well, AJ didn't come up. Everybody else came up but AJ. Y'all hold on just a second. I'm going to try to see if AJ is going to make it up. And there's AJ. Okay. AJ, real quick, before I put you up on the channel, can you show me your camera just so I can make sure that we're not about to get in trouble here? Thank you, AJ. Okay. Okay, you can, turn your camera off. Okay, so this is AJ Watson, everybody. Go ahead, AJ, you're live.
Okay, so my father's a truck driver. He used to live out there in California, and I talked to him about it this morning, and he did tell me that over there there's many culverts, many dips off of the roads that's covered in brush, and even if they were to go in with helicopters with infrared, there's too many places that if she was murdered, there's too many places they can hide that car. It could take them years just to scour 1 mile.
So he wasn't surprised about the possibility of the car just being hidden.
No,
Okay.
he, like I said, he used to live out there. As a matter of fact, he used to live out there in Laguna as a kid.
Hmm.
And and he said, a matter of factly, this morning when I talked to him about it, that from what it sounds like, they're not going to find her alive because there's so many variables. And in fact, he believes the couple that got pulled off the road, they found dead, that could have been them panicking, trying to get her off the location, ran the people off the road, as well as this other woman that is still missing. There's a
Oh,
tie-in somewhere.
there's another woman missing?
Yes, it's been overrun with Kylie's situation, but there was a lady that was going home. Her sister's been putting on blast that they haven't been able to find her, and that she's upset because they can't find her, and the news isn't covering it.
Do you know the lady's name?
No, I do not. But you reach out to Popcorn Planet; they talked about it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I like Popcorn Planet. I'll go over there and look for the other person's name and see. And
Yeah.
that woman went missing about the same time as the couple.
Oh yes, that this all happened within like a few hours of each other. Apparently, the couple getting run off the road, this other girl going home around the same. I think it was like 10 p.m. And she never made it
Wow.
home.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah.
But I honestly agree. Sammy most definitely has something to do with it. Like one of my best friends, she studied psychology and behavioral analysis. She's blind, so she couldn't see anything. And I sent her a link. She listened to it, and she caught it from the get go. Either it sounded like unrequited love, like because she was putting it on airs, like that they were so close, like intimate, like lovers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said that Sammy had something to do with it. She doesn't know anything about the Fight Club or anything, only like the first tidbit of it.
Yeah.
And I've even studied behavioral analysis and micro expressions.
Oh, yeah.
If you go,
Sammy's got so many micro expressions.
oh yes,
It's a concert all by herself, isn't it?
oh yes, and
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think she has ties with something shady, and that in fact, I think she's got her little group of friends, Mel and all of them, scared that if they speak out, something's going to happen to them too.
Well, look, it was absolutely shocking how direct she was at that microphone, telling
Oh,
parents to just drive away and don't listen to anything and just drop their kid off and go. And then saying, if you have anything, let me have it. I'm the one the cops want you talking to. And that wasn't
of
true at
course.
all. That wasn't
Oh,
true
of
at all.
course.
It's
It's
crazy.
because it's because if any evidence does come forward, she can see it first.
That's
But
exactly right.
also the whole thing of her leaving California is coincidental, but at the same time it's very suspicious because it happens right after dogs spoke out about it.
Oh, so you think when Dog came out and said he was going to look at it, you think that spooked him?
Of course.
Yeah,
Now we just need
maybe.
to get John Walsh out on this because he knows that area. He used to live out in Cali. I think he still does.
Yeah, it's a crazy story, and I agree. I don't believe in coincidences. And you have that young couple that was killed, and now I didn't know about this other missing person.
Yeah,
Um, it's
she
very
was coming
strange.
home from work. And on top of that, where the couple drove off the road, there is like I want the information on this so I can look at it myself. I want to know the exact gas station that she fueled up at, and I want to know the location of the wreck, exact location. I know the road exactly, but not the exact location. But there's not a lot of turns in the dark there, and there
Yeah,
was tall grass, so you would be able to see
yeah.
the road.
Well,
Just
sure.
something with all of this doesn't add up.
Surely the cops are looking for that connection.
Oh, I've already spoken out to a family friend that's an FBI agent.
Yeah.
They actually stated that they've gotten so many links just to the FBI alone that they're overwhelmed. They do not have the manpower to look into every single thing at the speed that everybody thinks they are.
Wow.
Like within 24 hours time, they had over 800 tips. That's just to the county alone.
And but
And
you know what I always wonder now? I always wonder, is it real uh, viable tips, or are these just like people that are on YouTube and they call in saying you
viable
should
vi- viable
viable
tips
tips?
actually called into the sheriff's department. And they are also looking into Ronnie, and they've actually got a crew that's looking at all of these YouTube videos. Anything
Oh,
that seems like it could be a lead, they're
I
looking
believe
into it.
that. I believe that absolutely. And one of the big things that we know is that perpetrators will always come back to the scene of the crime.
Yeah,
They get curious, they want to know what the cops know. Then they get like this sadistic delight when people are talking about them. Um and so, yeah,
this
eventually.
this type this type of situation kind of reminds me of an old movie. You probably know it. The
uh
about that group of friends that actually killed somebody on the end of the side of the road. I know
yeah.
what you did last summer, whatever it's called.
Yeah, great movie.
That this reminds me of mixture of that, and like somebody else said, the Blumhouse horror flicks.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if I didn't know all the information I've actually read up on myself, this would be triggering me as some sort of cultist behavior going on.
And what makes you say that about the cult like behavior?
Because the fact of all of these people being hushed up, because like there's most group of friends in high schools can be cultist like, and that's what it looks like from like out of the box kind of viewing at it.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you straight up, I have said to myself, how in the hell are they keeping all those kids quiet? I
Yeah,
can't.
if they're because I'm going to tell you this, we had a fight when I was back in high school in the cafeteria. It took no more, and there was about 300 people in the cafeteria. There was a incident in the cafeteria during lunch. A girl did something with hot sauce. We're not going to talk about it. I don't want you to get demonetized.
Okay, thank you.
But but they thought she screamed out and had some sort of episode and passed out. It
Wow.
took 30 minutes for somebody to go into the office and say, "Hey, this is what she did."
Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
there's always going to be somebody that's going to snitch.
See, that's what I think. AJ, that is what I have really grappled with this. If she was really at that party, something happened, how are they keeping everyone quiet?
The,
And I
the also,
and Sammy, and what Sammy said and what Jagger said about the FBI wants us to see the information, we'll look for what's credible and forward it to the police. They were so vocal in
yeah,
both of them. And you have to
yeah.
wonder the audacity that they did that. Like, but they did. And I guess those kids believe them and they're scared because they are not talking.
Well, of course, I mean their futures are on the line, so a lot of them will be panicked. But you're telling me out of 300 people that went to a party, that every single one of them are going to have a future going to an Ivy League college?
No,
In that area,
no,
most of them are probably going to go to trade school, do
that's
something
right.
industrial like.
Yep. Yeah.
But also, I believe that the party may have wrapped up quite early because people were actually complaining about it. And I believe they went to a second location. And I do not believe she made it to the second location because I believe that phone was thrown in the reservoir. And then I believe, say she OD'd or something like that. But we won't know until all of the evidence is out.
Yeah.
It's either a murder, which we know how those usually go,
Yeah.
or there was an accident. And even with an accident, they could have totally staged it and made it look like, oh, well, she was doing drugs and on her way home, she OD'd and ran.
I no, I think that's what they were doing. I think they wanted to write the narrative before anyone found
Yeah,
her body, right?
yeah,
But they did a good job covering up the body, and it's just not been found. But I think they were telling us, they were saying, she died of an overdose, and the people that gave her the drugs were people we don't know because they came as far as San Francisco, so don't blame us.
yeah.
I think the reality is that it was not a party of 200 or 300 people, that it was 20 or 30 people, and they know what happened to her, right?
Hon-
She's
Honestly, with the description of the parties that I've heard about, it could have ended up being a rave and could have easily been that many people. But at the same time, I think most likely she OD'd because let's face it, how many times on the news have we heard the word fentanyl in the past year?
well, yeah, they had the girl that died, the 15-year-old that died in June.
Yeah. Well, see, I live out in Tennessee. That
Mhm.
stuff hits the news like every other week.
Yeah, yeah.
And I believe maybe she OD'd. They all freaked out and they come up with some narrative to cover their own asses.
Well, I'm on the one hand, that is a very viable possibility. The second, for me, I think it's a viable possibility that there was there was a disagreement between she and one of the
Oh, sorry,
girls.
excuse me.
It's okay. Maybe Sammy, and there was a beat down and she lost. That's also, and then there is the abduction possibility,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
that's. I'm sorry to say it, but that's highly unlikely because if they
I
suspect of it being an abduction, there's cameras on all of the interstates and at certain intervals,
Yeah,
and they usually use them for because they do it all the time in the news, like oh there's a collision on this interstate here, we're going to look at it, see how bad it's backed up.
yeah, 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 yeah.
S- and not to
So
mention
you're
all of these. I'm sorry, go
so
ahead.
you're so you're leaning toward, you think it was an overdose and they're covering it up.
I believe either she accidentally got knocked down, hit her head, died, or an overdose
Yeah,
or a murder.
yeah,
I don't think it's an abduction because the fact of the um the distance that they would have to go to cover that up. I mean, Sacramento's just right there. That's like an hour and a half drive. But at the same time, all of these companies, all of these businesses, you're telling me that not a single security camera saw her vehicle?
yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I agree.
I
Yeah.
think it's up there in the mountains somewhere, pushed off the road into the brush.
Well, now, if you got somebody who likes car shows, they may have a closed trailer to transport a car. And if you
Not
hide the car in the garage until the middle of the night and then load it up, you could drive it out of there with no questions asked.
Yes, but see, here's the thing with that is if you loaded that vehicle up on a trailer, there would be tread marks on that soil because they all parked in the dirt. There's no parking lot in that forest. And that soil is naturally wet because of all of the humidity and all the pine needles sitting on top of it and stuff. In order to get it out of there, it would have left marks. And cops, the feds, they actually have a database that has all types of tires and documented in it.
Yeah.
I personally believe that they took it out naturally, had her like in the passenger seat or whatnot, found a nice secluded spot with a lot of brush and just pushed it off of the hill.
I don't
And
know.
I mean that couple, their car was sitting right out in the open. It took them 10 days to find it. If it's out
That's
there
right.
in
That's
the
exactly
brush,
right.
there was one guy that's actually in the search and rescue actual training profile thing that they do.
Yeah.
There's a picture that it shows of a car that was stuck in a brush he ran off the road or something, and I think it took them years to find him.
Wow. Well, it is definitely a mystery, and when you throw in all of the shady actions of some of these young
But
people, it is a crazy story.
of course, you
Yeah.
can definitely tell that they're covering something up.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt there's a cover up. No doubt. We just don't know
And
what it was.
oh yes, and also the amount of people that were involved in it. Something's if there was 300 people there, something's going to come out eventually.
Oh, I think so.
It,
And I think Adventures with Purpose, what they're doing, that'll be a game changer. If they don't find the car, then I think that, increases the likelihood that it was an abduction.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Honestly, what they should do, since that Sammy has kind of like ran for the hills,
Uh-huh.
pull that little group of friends into a federal investigation office, put them all in different rooms, and be like, "Hey, Sammy ratted you out,"
Yeah.
and give each one of them a different story. They can legally hold them for 24 hours without evidence, but however, with the connection to this case, they can technically hold them longer. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really think Mel is, like you said, she's on her breaking point. And personally, they may have to, push a little bit.
I agree. And they may be doing that because the last press conference, you could just see the cops were irritated. You could tell that they were frustrated.
Of
So they
course.
they may have turned the heat up on some of those girls.
Yes, and I have a feeling here pretty soon that a lot of the National Park fire rescue team members, the guys that usually go out when there's a forest fire, are probably about to get involved.
Oh, maybe. Like you mean in looking for the car?
Yes, and looking
Yeah.
for her in general.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's still odd that we haven't heard barely even anything about the other woman that's missing.
So strange. I'm gonna go over to Popcorn Planet tonight and listen and see what I can, learn about
The
that.
the video of theirs that I watched, I believe they spent a proportion of it. Actually, everybody agreed, even in the comments. Sammy was shady, and they were looking at the one where her and Mel were talking, and then Mel said, "Well, I left 10 minutes into the party because everybody was doing like 4 bong rips at a time or whatever."
Yeah.
And if you really pay close attention to it, anytime she said anything, she was looking at Sammy as if trying to get her approval on what she was saying.
Yes. Yes. I noticed that. No, this Sammy's got a weird influence on the other kids.
If you were to
And she
psychoanalyze
was
her,
she was audacious when she was at that microphone telling everybody that they had to come to her, that she
of
was the
course.
person. Audacious. I mean, I just
Sh-
couldn't believe it how direct she was.
And also, I said this today to somebody, and they totally agreed with me. Is she was giving off the same type of vibe that Amber Heard was at the court hearing.
Oh, sure, I can make that connection. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that you could tell the narcissism, the controllingness,
Yep.
and even the lies. It's you could see straight through all of it.
And the enjoying being the center of attention,
Oh,
smiling and
oh yeah, and also the fact there was one of them that somebody on YouTube pointed out today about she they were doing their like speech or whatever, prep talk or whatever, and she did like this little twirl and like, this is me. And I'm sorry to say it, but if they
wow.
were really her friends, these people wouldn't be so perky and upbeat right now.
Oh no, it's very uncomfortable. It's strange. The dynamics are very strange, for sure.
Of course.
Yeah. Her Kylie's mom and dad, they seem to be the only ones having a true emotion, right?
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, I
That's
saw
right,
an
Frisco.
interview. I saw an interview of Kylie's mother. She was they were talking to her, ask her questions, and they brought up the I'm doing a little parentheses thing here. Friends, and her eyes were blinking nonstop.
Hmm.
That is a micro expression for lying.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
And all she said is they'd been nothing but helpful.
Well, and she came out too and said about the sweatshirts,
Oh
not to
yeah,
get not to get thrown off by the what you call it, red herrings or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. And basically, if you look at the black hoodie and look at what it says on it, that itself is them trying to throw it off because what was worded on it is basically talking about running away.
Yeah, I actually got the whole poem and read it, in one of my videos. And it was definitely a coming of age kind of poem talking about going going out in alone on the road and taking the road less traveled and
Yeah,
it was definitely giving you the idea of, well, maybe she just ran away.
yeah. And I talked to my dad also about her vehicle. Like, he's a mechanic, he's been a truck driver, all these other things. And apparently her vehicle has what's called Honda Link in it. It's their
Ah,
equivalent of OnStar.
yeah,
And inside of that model, there is a actual touch screen, like most, modern cars have them.
yeah.
But back then, they didn't have all the fancy stuff in 2013 like they do now. So it's got a built-in GPS chip triggered to the panel for the GPS. It's hardwired in to the actual GPS stuff.
Yeah.
And the only way for that to not work is if they take the battery out
Take the
or the
car
battery's dead.
battery.
Yes, take the electrical
Oh,
stuff out.
yeah. We learned about that with the whole Barry Morphew thing. The night Suzanne Morphew went missing, he
Yeah,
he disconnected his battery from his truck.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
remember that
so
now.
like that, but in order to get that information, they would actually. I don't know if that one had a built-in TomTom or if it was directly hardwired into the system. But none of this stuff adds up. And like I said, I'm from Tennessee. We've seen our fair share of messed up things in the past few years.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's a crazy story. Well, AJ, thank you so much for the information that, there legitimately are definitely culverts and other places that car could be and nobody would ever see it.
Oh, no problem. And one last thing, the car's not in the reservoir
Um,
because there would be an oil slick on top of the water.
aha. Okay.
Because you have motor oil, transmission fluid, gasoline, all inside of this vehicle. If it goes in under the water, I promise you, 2013, it's going to have a leak that's going to get out of there somewhere, especially the gasoline because the gas tank is not vacuum sealed.
Uh-huh.
But
Interesting. Yeah,
but
I wouldn't think of, I don't know anything about cars. So thank you for that.
well, no problem. But
Yeah. And no, it's
thank
been
you for
very
allowing me on here.
interesting. Absolutely. You're always welcome, AJ. I've got this other person up here, Seafowls the Cami. I don't know if he's still listening or not. I'm a bit worried about letting him up.